What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Canadian Football Fanatics YouTube channel. And thank you guys for tuning in to another video. Combine season is here, folks. The CFL's Invitational Combine is coming up this upcoming Friday, February 28th, excuse me. And that will lead into, of course, the National Combine come March. So exciting time here on the channel. And as we did upload here today as of the recording, by the time you guys are hearing this, it'll be a few days removed since we uploaded episode number 39. And we had started our CFL Prospects series here on the channel. We started that with University of Saskatchewan running back Riker Frank. Riker joined us for about an hour to discuss his football journey and his future plans to attend, obviously, the Invitational Combine and hopefully the National Combine. And who knows what's ahead for Riker. But enough about Riker. If you guys want to hear more about one Riker Frank, go over to episode 39. I'm sure it's maybe scroll down below, click on the Canadian Football Fanatics. You guys will be able to find it very quickly. Episode 40 today, and we're going to be joined by Jackson Tachinski, University of Manitoba, quarterback, athlete. Excited for this one. This one's been I don't know if I want to say a long time in the making, but we've been excited to have Jackson on and wanted to chat with him for a little while now, leading into the Canada West season. Unfortunately, couldn't make some things happen, or couldn't line up our schedules to make that happen. So now, just before his combine preparation wraps up here in Vancouver with QB Motion, Rob Williams, you see Nathan Rourke out there throwing. He will be traveling to Waterloo out east for the Invitational Combine, which is this upcoming, like I said, Friday, February 28th. The Invitational Combine will take place at the campus of Waterloo. And similar style in the past, where I believe it was 12 prospects selected last year from the Invitational Combine, will continue to the National Combine and join the 70 plus athletes that are already scheduled to compete there. So excited to have Jackson on to chat about his journey, talk about his time at the University of Manitoba, and what he's been up to the last few months. That will begin our Invitational Combine, I guess, series. And of course, once that wraps up, we will start to dive into the National Combine. Got some guests already lined up for that one. We will save those teasers for another episode, but stay tuned, folks. That brings me to my always reminders. Like, comment, most importantly, subscribe. When you guys subscribe, press the notification bell. You guys will get notified every single time we upload any sort of content here on the channel, whether that's a video, YouTube short, we go live on the YouTube, you name it, you will get notified. So please be sure to subscribe, most importantly, and press notifications so you guys can get notified. Of course, you guys can find us on Instagram at Canadian Football Fanatics and on Twitter, excuse me, at _ CF Fanatics as well. So before we get into the episode, let's pay the bills, as they say, guys, and let's read a couple ad reads going forward. And as always, we are sponsored by this episode is brought to you by Area 51 Sports, your one-stop shop for all your football needs. Whether you're looking for top-notch footballs, helmets, shoulder pads, cleats, gloves, flag football gear, or even custom uniforms, Area 51 Sports has got you covered. Trusted by athletes at every level, they're dedicated to helping you play your best, gear up, and dominate the field with Area 51 Sports. Visit their website today and take your game to the next level. That reminds me, folks, another one of our reminders. If you guys haven't already, go back and check out our episode with Taylor Elgersma. He has a NIL deal with Area 51 Sports. I believe he wore some shoulder pads brought from them and some other equipment this past season. So Area 51 Sports, as it says here, trusted by athletes at every level, trusted by the one and only Heck Crichton winner, hopefully future Canadian NFL quarterback Taylor Elgersma. Trust Area 51 Sports. And of course, this episode is also brought to you by your senior men's Canadian national football team. And they need your support as they gear up to represent Canada in Europe this April versus Italy. Help the boys bring home the win by checking out the fundraising options and official team merchandise at footballcanada.com. Every purchase and donation goes directly to supporting the team on their journey. Let's show the world what Canadian football is all about. Head to footballcanada.com today and help the team make us proud. Another great transition. If you guys are a fan of Football Canada and what they got going on here with senior men's national team, Um, go check out our episode with quarterback Michael O'Connor, who will be representing Canada. And I guess we shouldn't say it's official that he will be the one that'll be behind center because there's Chris Merchant, a few other guys on the roster that will have their opportunity to, I'm sure, fight for the starting position, starting QB1. But I think as of now, Michael Connor is probably one of the front runners for the guy in charge to lead us into battle here for the senior men's national team. So go check that out. That was a lot of fun. Michael has a very unique journey when it comes to Canadian football. Spent some time playing high school football up here in Ottawa, went down to the States, Chattanooga, Tennessee, down to IMG Academy. He commits to Penn State. He stays there for a season, comes back up to Canada, commits to UBC, wins a Vanier Cup, gets his shot in the CFL for a little while, for a few seasons, and much more on that episode. So head over, like I said, you guys can find it down below. Click on our Canadian Football Fanatics YouTube channel and go check out the rest of our remaining episodes. We've been busy, folks. Like I was saying the last, I believe, maybe last episode at the during our intro of, I hope you guys are enjoying our faces because you better get used to them. We are busy uploading content almost on a weekly, I wouldn't say daily basis, but on a weekly basis for sure. We're trying to get the podcast episodes out to you. Like I said, this by the time this is uploaded, the Riker Frank episode will be about 2 days old. We're going to have this one be uploading on Wednesday. The Canadian Football Invitational Combine will be taking place 2 days after this will be uploaded. So, perfect way to get you ready for that Invitational Combine by checking out episode number 40, folks. So, let's throw it over to University of Manitoba quarterback Jackson Tachinski right now. All righty, Fanatics. Joining me now is the Canada West Football Player of the Year, University of Manitoba Bison's quarterback, Jackson Tachinski. Jackson, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Cole?
Doing very well, man. Looking forward to this conversation. I know it's been, I asked you in the past, and unfortunately for you, honestly, I really enjoyed your answer. And now in the future, fast forward, we're able to make things work. And been rooting you on since last season, man, and following your career and following your journey. I'm excited to chat one-on-one and kind of share your journey with some of my listeners and some of our viewers. So, before we get into kind of your football career, I would like to talk maybe about with doing some research for the podcast here tonight and seeing that you're a very accomplished athlete, not just a football player. And I would like to kind of start there and being a multi-athlete, multi-sport athlete growing up, excuse me. And just, I guess, the role that plays in your football skills today and how that's developed you as an athlete.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, growing up, I honestly played like all the sports you could. So, hockey, soccer, basketball, did some track. But I played a lot of flag football growing up, and I think working on all those different kind of sports, you learn a lot about each sport, but you also learn like a lot of different things you can do with your body. So, for me, working on different sports, it kind of helped me excel in other sports, and it made me want to get stronger. And I start weight training, and that just kind of excels my development through different sports. So, I think playing multiple sports has been a crucial part in my journey. Not only for the skill development, but just being in a bunch of different environments, a bunch of different locker rooms, different cultures. I mean, you kind of learn a lot about different people, different leadership styles, different stuff like that. So, yeah, not only for my skill set, but I think socially and as a leader, I think it really helped excel my development. So, I committed to the University of Manitoba as a basketball and a football athlete, and that was an awesome time I had with the basketball team. I really enjoyed my time there. But eventually I had to pick one, and I picked football. But I really enjoyed my time with the basketball team, and I'm just thankful for all the experiences I've had with playing different sports and all that.
You hear about, people, everyone has different journeys, right? And maybe somebody got attracted to a sport by, watching, say, the Super Bowl or maybe the Grey Cup. And, maybe some people are lucky enough to grow up with, maybe they had family that were in, the CFL, whatnot, or maybe they have siblings that growing up they were watching. What kind of drew you to sports and what maybe, I guess, attracted you to playing sports as well?
Mm-hmm. So I'm the youngest of four kids, and everyone in my family played sports. Both my parents were good athletes too, and they kind of passed down some good genetics to us, and they taught us a lot of good things and good values that kind of helped excel us through our sports. I got an older brother. He ended up playing receiver at McMaster. I got a couple older sisters that are twins. One ended up running track at Penn State, and then the other one was just a really good athlete in high school. So I had really good people to look up to. I had really good role models, people that were surrounded me. They were really good role models for me. So I kind of used those people to help me out, and I was always really competitive. And my older siblings, they were better at sports than me, and it kind of frustrated me. So um, I kind of built a really good work ethic to be like them, because you always look up to your older siblings, and I just wanted to be like them. And it kind of just made me work really hard in sports, and honestly, just I began to love it just through the hard work, and through all that made me build an attraction to it.
So if you don't mind, Jackson, you kind of were starting to chat about it there a little bit, but can you just talk a little bit more about maybe your relationship with your siblings as well as the competitive side of things of like, I'm sure the little brother, you guys are going out back and shooting hoops, and maybe older brother's beating you until you get
Yeah.
a certain age and you finally kind of, I go into the house and I beat him for the first time and you kind of start to
Mhm.
gain small victories. But I feel like those small victories can turn into, we're seeing you now, Canada West Football Player of the Year, and you're a very accomplished athlete, like you said, a two-sport committed to going to the University of Manitoba. Talk to us a little bit about that relationship and just how I'm sure you kind of were driven by looking up to your older siblings in that competition.
Yeah, especially with my older brother, we'd always be shooting hoops in the front yard, playing horse, playing one-on-one, doing whatever, throwing the football. And he was always a lot bigger, a lot better than me, and he would kind of throw some jokes here and there to kind of up my competitiveness, and stuff like that kind of really helped. And even just watching my siblings compete, I would go to their sports events, all their games, all their championships. I'd be going to that kind of stuff, and just seeing the product that they put out on the field or ice or on the court, it really inspired me. So they would kind of beat me up a bit as the youngest, but I'm really appreciative of that, just because it kind of taught me a few lessons and taught me to work hard, and kind of have to earn what you do, earn what you get. So yeah, just being able to compete with them growing up, whether it was shooting hoops or playing street hockey, or whether I was able to watch them compete, having them around, it was really inspiring, and just really glad they're there for me.
So let's get into your football journey. We'll tie back into maybe a little bit of hoops in a little bit here, but
Yep.
tell us, Jackson, about maybe where your football career began, as well as maybe obviously you play quarterback now, but we hear stories growing up. Maybe you started as the offensive lineman, you're a center growing up, or something like that. You're kind
Yeah.
of the little kid, and you kind of grow and obviously become athletic. Were you always a quarterback, and when did you start playing football?
So I didn't start playing tackle football until about grade 8. I always played flag football, and I played at flag football pretty early, like grade 4, I'd say. And for flag football, I always played quarterback. So, or like whenever we were playing recess football, out in the yard or whatever, I was always quarterback, just because my brother was a quarterback growing up, and I watched him, and I wanted to be like him. So I played quarterback for forever for flag football, and that kind of built my athleticism, built my feel for the game, kind of built my skill set for throwing. And when I played tackle in grade 8, there was a quarterback ahead of me, so I ended up playing receiver for the first 2 years, and I was pretty good, like, and but I knew I was a quarterback and I wanted to be a quarterback. So by the time I got to high school, I was playing JV. The other guy was brought up to varsity, and I did pretty good in JV. I started the whole year. It was like my first experience ever starting, so that was really valuable for me to grow. And then as I go into varsity, I kind of just keep improving, and I ended up winning the job, and I kind of go from there, from playing receiver to playing flag football to playing quarterback. So it's kind of it was a journey, but I'm glad I got to the point that I'm at.
All part of the journey. So
Yeah.
I'm curious with, you mentioned your love of basketball and you played hockey growing up and stuff like that. What kind of separates, what kind of makes football different, I guess? And what do you love about football versus some of the other sports that you played growing up?
Yeah, I think football, it's very unique. I think it's the greatest team sport in the world. You got 12 people on offense, 12 people on defense, and then a bunch of different people playing special teams. The team camaraderie, the locker room, the relationships you build in football. Just from my experience from other sports, like there's nothing else like it. The relationships you build, the people that you meet, it's truly special. And football, it's an amazing game. Compared to basketball. Basketball's a sport you can just kind of go into the gym and play some hoops on your own for fun. And I think that's a beautiful part of the game of basketball. But football needs some sort of organization. You need a group of people to come together to really work towards a goal. So compared to the other sports, football is just special because your locker room, it's huge. You gotta be able to work with people, work with different relationships, and I think that's what makes it so special.
I love that. Great answer. So, as we were talking about your very accomplished high school career, you went to high school Vincent Massey. Um, Talk a little bit about that. When researching for this, I believe you won a provincial championship in your JV season in football, and then I believe came up just short in both football and basketball in grade 11, but kind of capped it off by winning in your grade 12 season. Just talk a little bit about your athletic career and just some of the accomplishments that you were able to achieve while at Vincent Massey.
Yeah. So in JV and football, we had a really successful season. Pretty sure we went undefeated, and we were really good that year. Our team we had studs everywhere, so it made my job easy. So that was a really positive season, and that was like my first year playing quarterback, like I said. So that was a big jump for me, and I was really happy with it at the time, and I felt really good going forward with that. And I played basketball, JV basketball. Our team was probably like top 8, top 10, but wasn't the greatest. And then I got to grade 11. Played on the varsity team both for football, basketball. We came up short for both. I think football we ended up losing in the semis, and then basketball we ended up losing in the provincial final. But those losses that we took as a group for both my teams, we kind of took it as a big learning lesson. And the next year in grade 12, we all came out firing. We had really good teams for both the sports. And yeah, like you said, for football, we ended up winning the provincial title against St. Paul's, a really good St. Paul's team. It was a really good game. We ended up getting like a game-winning drive with 2 minutes left. It was really good. And for basketball, we ended up winning the provincial title too against St. Paul's as well. So
Wow.
it was a big year for us. St. Paul's is kind of like the juggernaut school here in Winnipeg. So, being able to beat them in both sports, sports that they usually dominate, it was, pretty special for myself and my group.
I'm sure very cherished memories for you and throughout your
Mhm.
career for sure. So I'm curious, University of Manitoba, Vincent Massey. I know there's a few alumni, but were there any of your teammates that are on your current Manitoba team that were maybe growing up with you on those few championship teams?
Oh yeah. I grew up in a neighborhood, and a lot of the people that I played football with, we're all kind of from the same neighborhood. Jack Schaefer, Vaughn Lloyd, Mark Rawhouse. We all kind of grew up together, playing football together, and now we're on the same university team, and that's super cool. And that's a big reason why I came to Manitoba, just because all the people that I kind of grew up with and kind of knew were all committing here. So I kind of want to play with them because that's how my career went. I was playing with them the whole time, and we were winning, we were good. So I didn't want it to stop, and we're here. We got a lot of Massey guys on the football team right now. I think like half or something of our offense is starting from Vincent Massey. So that's really cool. I got to play in high school with Braden Stubbs, Matthew Stockman, like I said, Vaughn, Jack, Mark Rawhouse. AK, he was a couple years older than me, but he went to my school, so it was cool because we were always looking up to him, and it was really cool to be able to finally play with him here in Manitoba. And yeah, I might be missing another, but we have a lot of Massey guys in the University of Manitoba team, and I think it's really cool because we've all been playing together, and so we all got a good chemistry. We all know how each other vibes and how each other works. So it's pretty cool to be able to keep playing football with them, and it's really special. It's a really big privilege.
So when I grew up as well, I believe I saw that you played quarterback, obviously for the high school football team, but you also played point guard, and um, a lot of similarities that come with that position. And I think a lot of people like to, tie things into, maybe the best player, maybe the most athletic player will play, the point guard or the quarterback, right? When I think is having a little bit of experience playing both. And I think that position is really, you can excel from playing above the shoulder, right? And kind of being a facilitator and allowing your guys to kind of work for you instead of kind of trying to do everything yourself. Can you talk a little bit about kind of having experience playing quarterback and point guard and just the similarities that come with those two positions?
Yeah, for sure. Point guard, you're kind of the quarterback on the basketball court. So like you said, it's a lot about what's up here and what you're kind of thinking, what's going on in your brain. So that kind of helps you to find different zones, find different passing lanes. A big part about football is kind of predicting where guys are going to be, where the open gap's going to be. And I think basketball was a big part of my development in that, just because you're running different plays, you're running different sets, guys are coming off screens. You got to be able to put passes where guys are going to be, not where they are. And I just think passing was a big part of my game, and I think playing both sports really helped me. And court vision, field vision, it's kind of the same thing. You got to keep your eyes up. You got to be able to multitask. There's a bunch of different things that they kind of work together with. So being able to play both, it was really good for my development, and really thankful I got to do both, because playing point guard was really fun, and playing quarterback's obviously really fun. So I've been pretty lucky with the positions that I've been able to play.
Very jealous of you, Jackson. I played a little point guard quarterback myself, but I'm closer to probably about 5'10", 160, opposed to myself, who's very gifted with the measurables. But jokes aside, um, tying back into your journey a little bit more, and something that's really cool in researching was that you had the opportunity to not only represent your province in football, but basketball as well. And can you just talk about that experience of representing, I'm not too sure with what to extent your experience was, but usually those times you're traveling out of province, or maybe you're traveling somewhere out of your hometown, and you're playing in some of these tournaments, and you're meeting kids from around your province, or outside of your town and stuff like that. How cool was that for an experience for you to not only play for the football team, but as well the basketball team?
Yeah, it was really cool. For myself as an athlete, I was a bit like of a late bloomer, I would say. I didn't end up making the provincial team till I was going into my grade 12 year, so the last possible year I could. And I was able to play both. So I played the university or the provincial team for football and basketball, and it was a really cool experience. It was a lot of training. I'd be bouncing back and forth between practices, and I'd have to miss a couple things here and there, but it was a really positive experience for me. Being able to go to Calgary for Canada Cup, and then I flew to Kamloops also, so to play in that nationals. So it was really special part of the summer for me. And I think as well, I was also playing on the flag football provincial team. So I remember flying from, I think we were in Halifax. I remember flying from Halifax straight to basketball nationals out in Kamloops. I had to hop on a flight right after the gold medal game. So that was pretty cool. A really good experience. It was really fun, and I got to play with a bunch of different athletes that I never had played with before. I only really had competed against. So it was really cool to just meet guys and figure out kind of how different the guys are. So yeah, cool experience, and I'd recommend it to anyone if they can.
So I'm curious now, Jackson, with going forward in your career, your high school career ends in a very great way, a very unique way that a lot of people aren't accustomed to. And I would imagine that you kind of look towards your future, as a lot of people in your position do. And take us through that time in your life where you're deciding as a young athlete to, schools are, I'm sure, starting to pitch you, and you go through the process, as you said, you end up deciding on to go to University of Manitoba. But and during that time, was there a key of kind of wanting to play both, or were you kind of really going through the process of not knowing what you were going to play, whether it be football, basketball, and just kind of trying to live in the moment and go with what, kind of your gut told you, or your heart told you?
Yeah, I think growing up, I honestly just loved both sports so much that in my head I always had that I want to do both. But when you start talking to other universities, other universities are offering different things. You kind of start to think about the other side of it. So like if I just pick one sport, what happens? So it was a really interesting time. My head was going back and forth about things, but deep down, and I knew I truly just wanted to be a multi-sport athlete. That's kind of how I envisioned my university career starting always. And I'm just happy that Manitoba was there to offer that to me. And I kind of took it just because I love Manitoba. I love being here. I thought the situation was really good for both sides, and yeah. So it was a process, but I'm glad I got to pick what I got.
I tricky having this conversation now, because I always kind of tie this into, I always find that I was very lucky to I graduated from playing in the CJFL in 2019, and I kind of lucked out on missing COVID. And unfortunately for you, that was a big part of kind of the starting of a university career and whatnot, and just take us through that difficult time of the world being what it was at that point of, COVID shutting everything down. I'm sure you're kind of wanting to start your university career and stuff like that, and it's at a very big halt, and things are canceled, and I'm sure the future was very unsure and cloudy. So take us through kind of your mindset at that time and just what you're going through in terms of, I'm sure it was just all school and kind of being at home and away from sports for the first time in probably a long time for you.
Yeah, like it was a pretty crazy time, for everyone in the world. We hadn't really experienced stuff like that, so it was definitely an interesting time. A lot of question marks. You don't know what to what to believe in. You don't know if the field or if the season is around the corner. You don't know if the season's in 2 years. You're kind of just training. You're just grinding, and you're praying. At the end of the day. So it was a really different time. It was pretty cool though, because you had to find different ways to get work in. You had to find different ways to improve yourself. And I don't think every person that was in the position to was. So it was kind of on you to go do some hill sprints because you can't go to the gym, or find some weights to do some lifting with. That was the really interesting part, and the pretty cool part about it is you kind of had to get creative to find ways to improve. And like you said, I was planning on using my first 2 years or first year, that COVID year. So I was preparing to play. I was getting ready to play, and you hear the news that everything's kind of shutting down, and it does something to your confidence. You're kind of questioning like what's going on. When am I going to be back? But at the end of the day, I just kept faith in the program I was working for, University of Manitoba. I kept faith in my teammates because they were working. So how could I not work? Because the season can start anytime, so we got to be as prepared as we can. And just got to keep faith in the coaches, because they're working for you, and they're kind of assuring you that we'll be back. So it was a lot of question marks, a lot of uncertainty, but at the end of the day, I just kept faith in everything that was around me, and we got through it, and we're here now. We made it through those tough times, and we're here now. So we just got to be thankful
We
for that.
we sure did. So I'm sure this man played a pretty big part in why you ended up at Manitoba, and obviously Coach Dobie, and we'll talk about it once we kind of get into your guys' past season of Coach this past season, like I said. What's the legacy that Coach kind of leaves behind, and what he's meant to that program, the football program I'm talking about, of you having experience with him, and just what he means to the Manitoba Vikings program?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Roby is kind of the heart and soul of our team. He was our hype man. He was there to rip into us when we had to get ripped into, but he was also there to help us, when we needed help. And coming into the program, he was a big reason why I committed there. He's just such a great people's person. He really connects with the students. A really good coach. He's really relatable. He can really talk to anyone he can. He can talk to anyone he wants to. He's great at starting conversations, great at keeping conversations up. Just a really good guy that you can connect with. And he was so important to our team for recruiting, for football stuff, for anything behind the scenes. He did so much work, and he truly cared about us, and that was pretty apparent this season. Some pretty emotional speeches, that he gave us, and I love that man. He gave us a lot. He gave us his all, and I want to thank him for giving me that opportunity to come here and believing in me. And the whole team really rallied around him this year, and it was really cool to see. Really cool to be able to be a part of his last year, and I was just thankful I got to be a part of it. Didn't end the way that we wanted it to, but I think we made Coach Shelby's final year pretty special. So I'm just happy he went off. He told us that it was one of his favorite years he's ever coached. So I'm happy he got the satisfaction of that, and I'm just glad he had a great career with Manitoba. Brought us to some beignets, and just want to thank him for everything.
Another cool chapter in your book, and I'm curious about memories you have from this one, is your first career start at Manitoba. And I believe, forgive me, or maybe fill us in afterwards if I have some of the things incorrect, but I believe season opener, home opener, and starting quarterback goes down, and young Jackson Tachinski gets looked upon to lead the program. Take us through that. And I believe you end up winning your first career game. And the feeling of having experience being a backup quarterback, on any given play, you could be called to, go grab your helmet. It's go time. So take us through what that was like for you to be a freshman and to get the call, and to not only, get the call, you end up leading your team to victory.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy scenario. Not how I imagined I'd get my first playthrough. But yeah, so Des was the starter at the beginning of the year. Amazing quarterback. I got to learn everything from him. I'm really glad and thankful that the time I got to spend with him. He's an amazing guy, amazing player. So seeing him go down, it honestly, like, it really sucked. Seeing him, tears flowing. My heart was broken, but at the same time, I couldn't really think about that kind of stuff because everyone's like, "Get your helmet on, get throwing, get ready. You're in the game." So your mind's kind of racing through, 100 different types of things. But um, I just ended up stepping in. I tried to be calm about it, tried to just execute the play, and yeah, we ended up coming back from behind. We beat Regina. It was our home opener. I felt a little bit of pressure. Felt a little bit of pressure just getting thrown in there. Home opener, first game, but we ended up winning. Ended up playing well. And yeah, that was the start of a really good season. We ended up going to the Hardy that season. And the next game we beat Alberta. Pretty sure the next game we beat Calgary, and then yeah, we were a good team that year. So it was a pretty crazy scenario to be thrown into. Pretty unfortunate scenario to be thrown into with Des going down. But at the end of the day, backup quarterback's one of the most important positions because at any time you can just be thrown right into the fire. So you got to be ready for it. And thankfully I was ready.
Super cool opportunity, I'm sure. And you mentioned it there. You guys end up getting a trip to the Hardy Cup, and you get to add to your kind of season, I guess, with leading your team to a Canada West semifinal victory as well. Just take us through those playoff opportunities for you as a young guy, and I'm sure kind of fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to word it, you kind of are, thrown to the fire, if you will, and you're kind of, sink or swim, if you will, for yourself, and you're kind of swimming. And take us through kind of what it was like for you to go through a playoff experience like that.
Yeah, it was really cool to be able to experience playoffs first year starting. We had a really good team that year. Our defense was really good. We had a bunch of good receivers like Macho and Gavin Cobb. So it was cool to be part of like a good offense and a good defense. We were just overall a good team. So that made my job easy. But yeah, getting that first playoff experience, it was awesome. Just to get that through, get that over with. It was a very snowy game in Winnipeg. Alberta came to visit. And we ended up just laying the boom, and we ended up just crashing them. And it was a really good experience. Really happy to get that first playoff win. And yeah, like you said, it was a really cool experience to do that in my first year. Because going through the year, I didn't really think I'd be playing that much. So being able to win a playoff game and being a Hardy Cup first year, it was really good, really cool.
Couple shout outs here, Jackson. First, shout out to Gab, a good island boy.
Yeah,
And if I remember correctly, those memories from that Alberta game, the snowy one, I believe Nick Kowalski, there's a pretty good clip of him that he has from that game of I think Gab scoring a touchdown. So I definitely have some memories of the snow that was falling that day. But I'm curious, you kind of finished that first season, the freshman year, and you come back in 2022, and of course Des returns as well from injury, and you kind of take a step back for his fifth or sixth year, whatever it was, with the medical red shirts and whatnot. And you get some playing time throughout that 2020 season. But take us through kind of the experience that 2022 was and I'm sure with what you've said, with having a great relationship with Des and understanding kind of that partnership that comes with a quarterback tandem. After that season ends, the 2022 season, going into 2023, you kind of know that you're the guy going forward, that, Des isn't coming back. This is kind of my team going forward. Take us through that time and kind of what was your mindset going forward?
yeah. I mean, obviously, you want to start every game you can. You want to be the guy. So for that 2022 season, going into it, I was obviously a bit disappointed, but at the end of the day, the coaches were making the decision that they thought was best for the team. And I'm a big team culture guy, winning guy. So I just kind of whatever the coaches think will help us win. I just went along with it. Like you said, I got to get some action. I did a bunch of short yardage stuff that year, QB sneak stuff like that. So that was pretty valuable. That was my first time kind of doing that kind of stuff, and we were pretty successful with it. So we kind of start to begin to write the blueprint for that package that we have. So that was kind of cool. But Yeah, it was definitely a challenging time, but I just kept faith in our program, kept faith in the coaching. I had faith in Des. Like I said, he was a really good quarterback, so I believed in him. And yeah, it was a different situation, but it was definitely valuable to be a part of, to kind of experience that. And going into the 2023 season, knowing I'm the guy, um, a bunch of things are going through my mind, but having that 2021 year as a experience, kind of going into the 2023 year, I had that to lean back on. So, just remembering that, I can make all the throws I can, make all the runs that I can, just from previous experience. It's really good for your confidence. So, yeah, going into the 2023 year, I had a really big confidence just from the fact that I knew that I could do it before. So, yeah, going into that 2023 year, it was really exciting, really just being able to step in there. It was a fun time. Really glad I got to do that.
So talking about that 2023 season, I'm curious, a game I was actually able to attend, and I don't know if you were able to see, but I had Riker Frank on Monday, and we were able to talk about the parity that lies within the Canada West, and some of the wild west that can happen. And talk about that 2023 season and you guys having a 3-6 record, but being nearly knocking out UBC, who ended up representing the Canada West and getting to the Hardy Cup, or excuse me, the Vanier Cup that season. You guys being right with them there in the Hardy Cup semifinal, nearly knocking them out of the playoffs to represent your guys' selves in the Hardy Cup that season. And just that, you being a veteran now in the Canada West and seeing that, there's no teams that can kind of be looked over or kind of forgotten upon, because all 6 teams are very competitive in the conference.
Yeah, just like you said, like, it's super hard to win a football game in the Canada West. With the snap of a finger, you can literally just lose any football game. Like, no lead is safe. You can always come back from any point deficit. It feels like all the teams are really competitive, so you kind of have to go into every game just knowing that you got to give it your best. And that 2023 season, be my first year like fully starting. We came so close in so many games, but we just ended up losing. Just by a smidge, because we had an extra turnover, or we had a few less yards passing or rushing, or whatever. And you realize that winning a football game, it's literally a game of inches. It's You can win a game so close, or you can lose a game so close. And it felt like in that 2023 season that we were just like barely losing, and against all the top teams too. So it was honestly like pretty good for our confidence, because we knew that we could literally hang with anyone. Like you said, we went to that UBC game in the playoffs just guns a blazing. We knew we had nothing to lose. We knew that we could play with any of these guys. So we kind of just went in guns a blazing, no worries, just playing our best. And we gave them a really good fight. So yeah, that 2023 season, like you said, we were 3-6. We dealt with some injuries at the beginning, but yeah, once we got our team fully healthy, we were really good, and just had a bunch of close games with a bunch of really good teams, and we couldn't get the job done. But yeah, it felt like for all those games we were just right there, and we kind of knew that going into 2024, that the year before we were so close to the top teams. So we were really confident using that kind of logic to going into 2024, and we kicked it off a bit better for sure.
Jackson, forgive me for glossing over talking about the Wild West. Take us through your experience with the Manitoba Miracle, one of the wildest endings to a game that I've ever saw. And I won't lie, I won't be one of the people that faked. I was watching the game when it all happened. I was kind of scrolling on social media, saw the way that the game ended, and was just flabbergasted of how the way things ended. And obviously, I believe, if I have remember the way things gone, Calgary ended up winning that football game, but it wasn't by a certain amount of points with the point differential and whatnot. And just take us through your experience with that. A game that Canadian football, just a game never can be over.
Yeah. Like, it was a pretty crazy ending. Definitely something I've never seen before in football. Probably won't ever see again. Like, that's like a one in a million kind of thing. I just remember being on the sidelines. Like, we all kind of thought the game was done at this point. The offense, we're all just kind of shaking each other's hands. We're all kind of hugging. Good season, whatever. And then I'm kind of just watching on the sidelines, and I see them just snap the ball, see them give a handoff, and then I just see the ball pop out, and everyone just goes crazy on the sidelines. So it was an insane experience. At the same time, I was jogging onto the field knowing that all of that could literally be for nothing if we don't get this 2-point convert. So I wasn't trying to get too high. I wasn't trying to get too low, knowing that we had to get this 2-point convert still. And, if we don't get it, then we all just got excited and hyped up for nothing. So, going into it, it was really super cool to see. Probably won't ever see it again. And I just tried to not get too high, not get too low, knowing that we still got to get this 2-point convert if we want to make the playoffs. So really interesting experience. It was very cool. We'll never see that again in history, and it was crazy.
You already talked about this a little bit earlier, Jackson, but I'm curious and talked a little bit maybe more about the legacy and what he means to the program. I'm curious. You kind of alluded to it on some of the emotional speeches and whatnot. Just how emotional were you guys in that locker room of kind of when you found out that it would be Coach Dobie's last season? And I can speak from a fan perspective when everyone found out in the community in the Canada West kind of fandom of being kind of shocked in a way of like, man, I can't believe Coach Dobie, this is kind of it, and we won't see Coach Dobie on the sidelines next year. So just take us through kind of the emotions that were going through you at that time. I'm sure it's a lot of like kind of the bittersweet of like, man, I'm so sad, but I'm also I'm so motivated to go out and make sure that this is a very special season for Coach. So take us through kind of what you were kind of experiencing at that time.
Yeah, it was a little bit shocking for myself. We had a big team meeting. Coach ended up talking, giving a bit of his life story, how he got here. And I kind of figured out, I kind of knew where it was going about 15, 20 minutes through. And he kind of broke the news for us that this was last season, and there was definitely a bunch of tears flowing in that room. And what I will say is we were going into that season really confident, really motivated. We really want to make a mark that season. And after that meeting with Coach Dobie, the temperature in that room just elevated that much more. It was a really special thing to be a part of. Everyone was so motivated. Everyone was showing positive attitudes. We all just wanted to get it done for Coach Dobie. We all really rallied around him. We all love that man, and just hearing that news before the season, it's not what you want to hear, but at the same time, it's a very good motivational thing that you can have for your team. And I think we kind of just rode that motivation throughout the season, and we kind of want to just do everything for him. So every win, every practice, every day, we would count down the days, because you got to realize in life that you only get opportunities so much in life. So you got to take the most of your opportunities. You got to be grateful for all the things that you get in life, and you just got to be where your feet are. You can't think about the past, can't think about the future. Be where your feet are. And I think we did a good job of that with Coach Dobie this year, and just living in the moment, playing our best ball, and just trying our best. So yeah.
So we talked obviously about the motivation that would be there, and I'm curious now with the start that you guys had, and just we already talked about the margin of victory, the margin for error that comes in the Canada West. If you can't half step, or you can't have 4 or 5 bad plays throughout a game. Talk about your guys' level of play, you being around the program for a little bit of time, and you guys start 6-0 to the season, and like we said, the Canada West with the parity that's in there is very impressive to start 6-0 and beating all these teams. Talk about the level of play that you guys were playing at that time, of not only on your guys' side of the ball on offense, but you guys were a hell of a unit on defense with some of those guys flying around as well. And a lot of 60-minute ball games, but I think the great thing about you guys were maybe a unit kind of didn't show up for a quarter. The other unit picked it right back up and kind of were able to bail the other side out, if you will. And take us through kind of that 6-0 start and just the level of play that you guys were playing at that time.
Yeah. No, we had a really awesome start, and I think it all began with just our belief in each other. Going into the year, we played with each other a bunch. Our culture is really good. Our chemistry is really good. So just going into the year, we knew we had to make a mark, and our confidence was extremely high. It was a pretty special season. Kind of going into it. We started off 6-0. That was pretty special. But yeah, like I said, I think just our belief was really high. No matter what the score was in a game, it could have been 10-0, could have been 30-4, like it was in Alberta. It didn't really matter. Our confidence never wavered, and we kind of just stuck to the programming. So I think our belief in each other was really special this year, and I'm just thankful I got to be a part of it. Got to be a part of that coaching staff. All those players. You only get to play with the football team for 1 year, and I was really glad of the time I got, and got to experience that. So yeah, really really thankful for the year.
So the season obviously ends not the way you guys envisioned or wanted it to, but just take us through the emotions of that game and losing so closely and just the emotions that I'm sure come with it of believing the whole time, and unfortunately it's just kind of ripped out with you guys in such a brutal way, and just um, take us through that a very emotional time, I guess.
Yeah, we ended up losing in a close one to Regina. We were all really confident going into it. We all really believed that we could get it done. Sorry, I'm just gonna plug in my computer.
Yeah, all good, Jackson. No worries, buddy. Been
Uh,
there before. I can say that we've definitely been recording some podcasts and have the laptop or computer die mid-episode. So been there before, man.
yeah, that should be good. All right. Yeah. So yeah, it was an unfortunate ending. Didn't go the way that we wanted. But I love the group of men that I got to play with. I wouldn't really trade that season for anything. It was a really special group. We made a few mistakes in that final game. I didn't play my best game. We didn't play our best game. But at the end of the day, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. It's just all about the people that you play with, and we were a really good group. And yeah, I was just thankful I got to play with those guys. We all believed in each other, and that was the most special part about it. So yeah, it was a great year. Didn't end the way that we wanted to, but it is what it is, and we moved on for it, and we had a really successful regular season. So you got to look at the positives and take that.
So when looking back at your career, and obviously it's still very fresh, but um, you mentioned being thankful, and what comes with being a university athlete. You're very, not everybody can say that they were a university athlete or say they were a university starting quarterback. When looking back at your university career now, is there some thankfulness that comes with it?
Oh yeah, playing the position of quarterback, it's a blessing. You're kind of the main guy. Everyone's kind of looking up to you, and it's just cool to be able to be put in that position for people to trust you and believing in you. And I'm just really thankful for the position that I'm in. You get a voice around campus, you get a voice around the community, and I just want to use that to the best of my ability, and only use it for positive. So just being able to compete on a university football team, not everyone in the world gets this opportunity, and we all are, on my team, we're all blessed. We all got a good opportunity in life, and we just gotta take advantage of it to the fullest. Whatever you can do, take advantage of your opportunities in life, and give it your best effort. You don't want to look back on life and realize that you could have gave more. So that's kind of the mentality I have with sports and with this university, is that they've kind of given me this opportunity, and I just got to take advantage of it. Put my best foot forward, and show gratitude along the way.
Awesome. So a few more, Jackson, we'll get you out of
Mhm.
here, buddy, and we'll
Yeah.
fast forward to what you got going on right now. And I'm curious, being a BC boy, Vancouver Island guy, let's start with QB motion. I know you've been out, I don't know if you're still out here and on the West Coast and training for the upcoming combine. And I know you've been out here in previous off seasons getting some work in with Coach Rob and
Mhm.
everybody that, Nathan Rourke you see out there, and you're throwing to CFL receivers and whatnot. Take us through your experience with Coach Rob and everything he's kind of been teaching you in the last few years.
Yeah. Coach Rob's been awesome. QB motion. He's a really good coach, really special guy, really good person. Him and his family are awesome. Love talking with them. Love working with them. Yeah, it's a really good experience to go to BC, being able to train pretty much all year round there. Having turf always available. It's really cool. Something we don't have here in Winnipeg. So I try to go down for reading weeks, or whenever I can get a little bit of a break. I just try to go there so I can fine tune my skills. And yeah, I love competition. I love being able to compete. And whenever I get to go there, I normally always get to throw with Nathan Rourke, and other good quarterbacks that travel there from other Canadian universities or U.S. colleges or whatever. And yeah, it's a super cool opportunity, because you kind of get to measure yourself up against these pro players. See how you're doing. You get to compete with them. They push you. You get to push them. Different little things like that. It's really cool to work on, and be able to experience. So yeah, if anyone hasn't, go follow QB Motion Instagram. He posts a lot of good quarterback stuff, a lot of lot of good drills you can learn, little techniques to help you out. It's very valuable because you see the work that Nathan does, you see how consistent he is. Um, you know, it's a he knows his stuff. So um, yeah, it's really cool to be able to go to BC and train, and yeah, it's a really cool opportunity.
So you talked about competition, and you had a few opportunities now to kind of showcase your skills in front of some of these prospects. And talking about last year, I believe you attended the East West Bowl, as well as I believe you kind of got to sit in a little bit for last year's CFL Combine and kind of just get a lay of the land, obviously being in Winnipeg, and take us through kind of those opportunities for you in East West Bowl, where Taylor Algersma right there, and you're kind of seeing some of these quarterbacks that you knew kind of a year from now, come Combine season, that you'd be kind of, you know, I'm sure it's all in good fun, and you're kind of building a relationship with these guys, but at the same time, you're also kind of looking to the right, looking to the left, like, hey, I can kind of sling it with these guys as well, right? And so, being the competitor that you are, how has that been kind of being able to kind of have these opportunities going to East West Bowl and whatnot?
Yeah, going to East West Bowl is really cool. You're only really playing in your conference in the regular season, so being able to play against some OUA guys, some Quebec guys, some AUS guys, it was a really cool opportunity. You get to meet a lot of new people, meet a lot of new athletes, learn some different things. So yeah, it was a really good experience for to go to that, especially with you got different coaches, different play styles. So you're just learning a bunch of different things, and you're kind of putting it all together and seeing what helps you out the most. And yeah, you get to measure yourself up against some of the best players in Canada, and it's a really cool thing just to see for your development, see what you got to work on. And same thing goes for the national combine that I went to. It was in Winnipeg, and they need an extra quarterback, and I was fully for it. I just wanted to get the experience to do it and work with different kinds of athletes. So that was really cool to be able to throw with the quarterbacks for the draft last year, to be able to throw the receivers in the draft last year, and just to be able to be a part of it in Winnipeg. It was pretty special. Just working with the different CFL people, working with different conference guys. It was really cool. Really glad I got to experience that.
Hopefully, all the QBs stay healthy this year. If I remember correctly, I think there was a bug that was going around, and I think come the Sunday there was only one QB left. If I remember watching correctly last year. But I'm
Yeah.
curious, Jackson, as we get kind of into the combine now, and it only being a few days away, and this upcoming Friday, what's kind of your mindset and kind of your goals to kind of showcase yourself to coaches and front office executives and stuff like that, and just kind of take us, I guess, through that mindset of you're going to be doing a little bit of stuff that's probably a little bit unfamiliar with, like the interviews, and maybe last year you kind of got a little bit of peek behind the curtain with that, but kind of being able to showcase with yourself. Obviously, like I said, we kind of talked a little bit before, and I get that you're a very humble person. And in some of these interviews, I'm sure they're going to be asking you sometimes to brag about yourself in a little bit, but also kind of sometimes the uncomfortable questions, like maybe what you were thinking here and stuff like that. So just take us through kind of the mindset of kind of what you're thinking for this upcoming Friday.
Yeah, my mindset, I'm just gonna go, fully in. I'm gonna go give my best effort, 100% effort, and I just want to, show teams that, I'm a dog, I'm a grinder, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win. I'm always a team player, and my biggest thing is I just want to win. So whatever I can do to help a team win, I wanna make sure I display that. So just gonna give my best effort. Gonna try to throw some good balls. Um, not much else I can do besides just give my best effort and um, play my best. So that's kind of my mindset and going into it like I got nothing to lose, and I'm just there to show what I got.
Control what you can control. I love that.
Yeah.
So Jackson, my last one here for you, and for a lot of my listeners and my viewers, kind of why we wanted to start the platform here is just wanting to showcase some of you guys a little bit more, and some of these Canadian football athletes. And I know a lot of my friends are kind of maybe a little bit unfamiliar to a lot of you guys, but I'm curious if maybe you can kind of talk to some people that maybe aren't familiar with you, and kind of watching you in the Canada West, as well as maybe some coaches for maybe kind of a is there any maybe a comparison to like your playing style? Or is there any kind of like quarterbacks that you watched growing up, and now we're seeing, obviously maybe you didn't compare it, but like I'm sure there's going to be little Canadian quarterbacks that are, I want to be the next Jackson Tachinski and stuff like this growing up and stuff like that. So is there any kind of quarterbacks you watched growing up, and is there any sort of comparisons to your playing style as a quarterback?
Yeah, One of my favorite quarterbacks that I watched kind of growing up, like I got to see like the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, and all that. But one quarterback that I watched a lot, when I started watching NFL really seriously, it was Andrew Luck. I love Andrew Luck. I love everything he did. Everything he was about. He was kind of like a big idol for me. And another guy in today's day and age that you could say would be like a Jalen Hurts or a Josh Allen. Those are kind of guys that play styles I think are, somewhat similar to mine. And I just try to play like those guys. Any CFL examples would be like maybe like a Dustin Crum, quarterback there used to play for Ottawa. Not sure where he is now, but I'd probably compare my game a bit to those guys. Let's try to play like those guys.
Andrew Luck, that's a great one. I'm a Bills fan, so I had the Josh Allen one for sure, but
Yeah.
Andrew Luck is a great one with the way you play and kind of the never give up attitude and the way you run the ball as well. But Jackson, man, this was a lot of fun to hear more about your journey as Jackson's having a little bit of technical issues, but all good. Um, was a ton of fun to hear more about Jackson's journey in Winnipeg growing up, playing some football as well as basketball, and hearing more about his time at the University of Manitoba as well. Really enjoyed that as we hopefully can get Jackson back to join us. And it's perfect timing, actually, that we had some little bit of technical issues afterwards, so we didn't have to pause this and come back to it. So great time for a ad read, folks. And let me just pull that up really quickly. Um, Attention, Canadian football fanatics. This episode is brought to you by Area 51 Sports, your one-stop shop for all your football needs, whether you're looking for top-notch footballs, helmets, shoulder pads, cleats, gloves, flag football gear, or custom uniforms. Area 51 Sports has got you covered. Trusted by athletes at every level, they're dedicated to helping you play at your best. Gear up and dominate the field with Area 51 Sports. Visit their website today and take your game to the next level. Perfect time to bring back in Jackson. Jackson, that transitioned perfectly to an ad read for you, buddy. So it was great timing.
Yeah.
But Jackson, like I was saying, I'm not too sure how much that you caught, man. Really enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed finally kind of getting to hear your journey. Like I kind of teased, I reached out to you I think last year sometime, and I really enjoyed your answer of kind of, you know, you very clearly have your head kind of screwed on straight of your response of, I'm kind of busy right now, focusing on myself and kind of bettering my team and my game and stuff like that. And once I heard that, man, it was just kind of easy to root for you this past season and with Manitoba and whatnot. So I was really looking forward to the time we were able to connect because I knew you were kind of interested, but not wanting to, the distractions off the field. I really respected that, like I said, man. And I'm going to be rooting for you this upcoming Friday. But lastly, man, we asked Riker kind of to end the episode this way of, like I said, with a lot of these people that maybe aren't familiar with kind of the Canada West or just Canadian football, and they kind of, are very easily attracted to the NFL, which is very, I get it. I'm an NFL guy as well. I'm sure you are as well. But kind of being converted now the last few years of, Saturdays, a lot of people up here, especially with TSN, college football and Division One football is available for them, and really trying to get people to understand that there is Canada West football on and U Sports football, I guess I should say, that is on every Saturday. That is very good product, and we're seeing it now with Theo last year and Gio getting NFL opportunities, Taylor this upcoming season, and as we talked about the countless memories that you have in Canada West and stuff like that. Why should people, Canadian people especially, tune into Canadian football to support us?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of talent up here. I think it just kind of just goes unnoticed or unscouted or whatever it is. We got a lot of good players up here. Guys that could play pro or do whatever they want. So it's really good for the community to show up for games. Support your university teams. There's really good athletes, really good student athletes that are putting their best product forward, and a lot of these games are really entertaining. So. My biggest thing would be, just show up. It's really good for the community, really good for the players. It's a big help. The football games are really good. The scores are always tight, and there's really good talent out there. So that's my biggest thing would just be, We got really good players up here. We just probably don't have the marketing or whatever it is. So if you can go check out University football game. I promise you won't be too disappointed in the product you see.
Jackson, that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
Lastly, before we get you out of here, guys, please be sure to leave a comment down below if you guys enjoyed. Maybe even leave a comment for Jackson, wishing him luck at this upcoming invitational combine. Most importantly, please, guys, subscribe. When you guys subscribe, press the notification bell. You guys will get notified every single time we upload any sort of content here on the channel. Jackson, best of luck on Friday, man, and we'll catch
yep,
you guys in the next one.
yep. Thank you.